All the rankings we look at, Auburn is number one, but for the fifth straight week yesterday, Tennessee stayed number one in the AP poll. I guess they'll have to lose for Auburn to jump them. Tennessee at Florida tonight, Auburn on the road at Texas. Let's talk to our buddy Stephen Pearl.
All right, he joins us now from out in Austin as they get ready to play Texas tonight at 8 o'clock. Welcome in, Coach. How are you today?
What's up, fellas? Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, it's good we're back to this. It seems like just yesterday when we were talking basketball. Time flies.
I know.
Time flies.
Yeah, no, it really does. Off season feels like it's not really off anymore, and we're back to it. So it's good to be back.
You guys start the road schedule in the SEC. Now, you guys are big favorites, but I think you know the way this league is. Road games in this league are going to be brutal this year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at every team in our league, and they're probably 10 or 15 points better than what you would look at on paper, just because they're playing at home. So it gives every team an incredible advantage, and that's no exception to this Texas team tonight. If you look at their roster and you look at the names, on their team, and it's one of the most talented group of guys that you're going to see. Trey Johnson's top 10 draft pick. Arthur Kaluma was one of the most sought out transfers in all the transfer portal last year. Tremont Mark has had a really good career at Houston and Arkansas, and he's given us some serious fits. And they have a guy, Jordan Pope, that just scored 42 the other night in the game. Some really good mid-major transfers from Indiana State, and they just have a nice group of talent on their roster that they just haven't put it together yet. But they have the pieces to do so, and obviously this is a big one for them tonight, so they'll obviously be elevated and ready to go.
I know the answer before I ask, but you guys have won 6 consecutive games by 16+. You've only been in one possession game all year against a really good Iowa State team that you guys won. Do you ever get bored in these blowouts? I mean, would you like some tighter games? I mean, obviously you want to win, but is there something about that, and do you fully expect now that you guys are in SEC play that these games will tighten up?
Well, I mean, we talked about this last year a little bit, but I mean, if you look at the Houston game, I would call that a one-possession game. That game was tight for 40 minutes. Obviously, like you said, the Iowa State game was close the entire game. The Duke game was close the entire game. So, I think we have a little more experience in closer games to this point this year. You're never going to obviously be upset when your team performs the way they do. But, obviously we know that the next couple of weeks, we're going to have many, many more, 1, 2, 3 possession games. But I think up to this point, we've had enough experience to know what it's like. But, obviously we've only played one road game. We've played 6 neutral games. So road environments are different than neutral. So we'll obviously be tested tonight. But, for us, if our guys are going to play well, we can obviously, push our leads up. Our whole thing is, when we do get a lead, we'd like for our guys to kind of, step on the gas a little bit more instead of letting up. And I feel like in, the Missouri game and, even the Purdue game towards the end, we kind of let off the gas a little bit, and we got to make sure we play a full 40 minutes regardless of what the score is.
That's what I was going to ask you, because if I'm scouting you in ball security, I would put great beside you guys. But then at the end of the Missouri game, I was at the Purdue game, at the end of that game, games in hand, and it looked like maybe the guys were a little bored or maybe putting a little extra mustard on some stuff. I perceive you to be this new age coach, the future of coaching. The old school guys would say, I really like that because I can go into practice and chew their ass out about those turnovers in the final 3 minutes. How does Stephen Pearl approach that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's great for teaching, obviously, because we can show them video now of what it looks like when we play well, but then what it looks like when we aren't locked in. And like the last 8 minutes of that Missouri game, we were not locked in at all. The last 5 minutes of the Purdue game, we were not locked in at all. And we tell our guys, like, especially some of the guys that are our 9th, 10th, 11th guys, like, these are opportunities for you to come in and really show what you're capable of. So you got to take full advantage of it. And Missouri went really small the last 10 minutes. They kind of pulled all their bigs out. So we kind of got caught wanting to take advantage of that and get the ball inside. And it led to some sloppy passes and some sloppy turnovers. And, it allowed the game to go from a 26-point lead to a 16-point lead to kind of finish the game. So, us as coaches, it's obviously frustrating, but it's really good to get that on film to show our guys, what it's not supposed to look like.
Auburn Associate Head Coach Stephen Pearl with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline live from Austin as Auburn takes on Texas in SEC play tonight at 8 o'clock. Do you know where you rank nationally in assist-to-turnover ratio?
I thought we were 1 going into the last game. I don't know if the turnovers we had in the last game changed that, but I'm assuming you have the answer.
I always have the answers because I've looked it up. Yeah, Mark Pope passed you. Kentucky is now number 1. But I by your answer, I know that is a stat that you take very seriously and you have great pride in, the fact that y'all were number 1 in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously something that it's important for us because if you look at, our roster and the amount of guys that have taken less to give more, we talked about it last year too. It just speaks to, the selflessness of this group and, their desire to win and being willing to share it. So it's obviously the reason for our success. It's the reason why our offensive efficiency has been so good this year. It's the reason why, we've had so much success on that side of the floor. So I think, we got to continue to do so. But obviously in league play, you're playing against different athletes. You're playing against different length. Missouri kind of showed that in their ability to, create some turnovers. But Missouri is, you look at their defense, they're 15th in the country in turnover percentage and they're 4th in the country in steal percentage. So we knew that going in and we did a good job for 30 minutes. But obviously didn't do a great job the last 10. So we got to clean that up, especially on the road because with a team like Texas, they're one of the best transition teams in the country. And if you turn the ball over in the half court, that leads to points for them on the other end. So we have to do a good job with ball security tonight.
I'll ask you another question that you probably don't know the answer, but we do know the answer. Came across it this morning, and this is fascinating. Do you realize the last time Auburn and Texas played basketball against each other?
I mean, I know Auburn's never been in Austin, but when was the last time we played?
1955.
I mean, Dunway, you were born then, right?
Oh, I knew it was coming. I
I
kiss your ass all the time, and I was waiting for that shot to come. I saw it coming.
Yeah. Sorry, I just.
No, that's hard to believe, though.
That was a layup.
Yeah.
Got to take the easy ones, man. You got to make the easy ones.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, almost 75 years. That's just pretty crazy.
I was talking to someone in the lobby last night, and he's a Auburn grad, and he's like, I can't tell you since we've been here if Auburn in any sport has ever been down here to play anything, So it's obviously new territory for us, but obviously Texas and Oklahoma have been, great additions to our league on the basketball side. So it should be a great environment and a great opportunity and great test for us.
Old person comment here, but I think you did a return home and home with Texas in the early 80s, Pat Dye in football.
That's right. Jim was there for that.
Just saying that.
Hey,
listen, your dad is very humble on this being the all-time winningest coach at Auburn history. A win tonight makes it just his record by himself. You're his son. You don't have to be as humble about him. It is a big deal to me to be the winningest coach in anything at any school, and your dad is that and can hold that record with one more win by himself. What does that mean privately to him, do you think?
I mean, I'm sure it's going to mean a lot because, his whole purpose of taking this job was to return Auburn to what it used to look like. When you look at Sonny Smith and Coach Ellis and, some of the coaches, Coach Eves, like some of the best coaches in Auburn basketball history, showed what Auburn basketball could be. So I think it's really meaningful for him to, obviously give that back to the Auburn community. These people have been nothing but amazing to us. So I think obviously for him personally, it's not as much of an accomplishment as it is, for Auburn in general. I think it's just another number for him, but he's obviously thrilled that this is something that, he can do for the Auburn fan base, the Auburn family, the jungle. And, it's a really unbelievable accomplishment, to be at a school, especially in the SEC now in basketball for 11 years. You look at some of the turnover at some of these jobs, like, it's a really tough league to kind of stay, to continue to have success in, and for him to do it at a place like Auburn for 11 years and, to have the opportunity to be the all-time wins leader is, from my standpoint, it's, one of the greatest turnarounds in college basketball history. But for him, I think he's more just thrilled that he was able to do it with, obviously an incredible staff, an incredible group of kids, and a fan base that has just been nothing but incredible to us.
So a lot going on in your life since the last time you were on this platform. Congratulations, the addition to the family. How is Nellie accepting the little one?
She's been great. Hasn't, been, how Vishals are. They're super high energy, but she's been like super chill around the baby. Anytime the baby cries, she comes running into the room just to check on her. So she's been a great big sister so far. And, Brittany's obviously, acted like she's been a mom for her entire life. So it's been really cool to see, that whole progression. And, it's been, like you said, it's been a change. It went from in season, how can Brittany make my life as easy as possible? Now it's flipped to how can I make her life as easy as possible? So it's been incredible. And I just want to thank you guys again. When we were kind of going through this journey, you guys let me come on here and publicly state something that, not a lot of like sports shows would really care for, to bring some awareness to an issue that so many people that, we've come across or dealing with. So I want to thank you guys too, because you guys kind of let us get the word out. And, there's nothing like being a dad, especially a girl dad. And we just had a lot of fun with it. So appreciate you guys.
Well, you're welcome. I feel like Stephen just said we're godparents now.
I think so.
That's pretty awesome. Let us know when the christening is.
That's right.
Let us know when the christening is. We'll be there.
She's a Dunaway's will now.
It's fantastic.
That's right. That's right.
Do you feel guilty a little bit about going on the road now because you get to sleep through the night?
Yeah, I mean, last night was the best night of sleep I've had in 3 weeks. So it was great. But I talked to Brittany this morning, and she said Lainey slept really well last night, and only got up once for her late night feeding. And so yeah, it's obviously you feel a little guilty because she's at home kind of carrying the water. But my sister was over there last night helping her out a little bit, and obviously I'll be home at 1 a.m. to give her her bottle in the middle of the night, and change her diaper and do what I need to do.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's well worth it. I can promise you that. Coach, good luck tonight against Texas. We'll see you next week. We appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. That is Stephen Pearl, the associate head coach of the Auburn Tigers. He'll join us every single Tuesday at 9:30.